The first projections are in, and it's exciting for the Cubs.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. We are your team every day. I'm Matt Cozy, and I'm a lifelong fan taking my passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Sam is under the weather, and we hope to see him back later this week and hope he feels better as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Later in the show, breaking down Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers and what it could mean for the future of baseball, recapping the Cubs convention, and we start with the first projection of the 2026 season. Last week, FanDuel released their over-under win totals for the 2026 season, and the projections are positive for the Cubs, who are listed at 88.5 wins. That's right. They opened at 88.5. The rest of the NL Central in order of win total as they opened: Brewers 85.5, Reds 81.5, Pirates 74.5, Cardinals 71.5. If I remember correctly, the Cubs opened at 85.5 last year, and hours before opening day, they were at 87.5, and then the ball got rolling for real. This is great news because it's the first indication of how well the Cubs could do this year. And it also reinforces the type of year they had in 2025. 92 wins, a postseason appearance, the first one since 2018, first postseason series win since 2017. So it reinforces the momentum they have from last year, and however or how much you want to believe in that. But it also highlights the current roster, most notably the recent trade for Edward Cabrera, the recent signing of Alex Bregman. You pair those two moves with a pretty much veteran-laden roster that's also been infused with a mixture of young talent. You start to feel really good, and you do get optimistic, and there's plenty of reasons to be optimistic as we sit here right now. It's the dead of winter. I really think Cubs convention is really the official, unofficial start to the season, and I'm excited to recap it more later in the show. But as we sit here now and we reflect on, okay, what were the Cubs' goals entering the offseason? And admitting, hey, the Brewers have been prominent. They've really been at times, or most of the time, dominant in the division over the last several seasons. Well, despite that, the goal for this offseason for the Cubs should have been to be the favorite to win the NL Central. And right now, they're in that position. And so that's extremely encouraging. Now, 2 weeks ago, would they have been in that position? No. Okay, the Brewers would have been the favorite. And even now, the Cubs, are only slight favorites, to be fair. 88.5 wins, Brewers 85.5. Division winner odds, Cubs plus 120, Brewers plus 195. The Reds, by the way, would be the next team in line, plus 400. But they are the favorite. And the Brewers, what they've done has been so impressive. You do peek at the Reds. You see that pairing of young position players and young pitching. The pitching probably actually a little bit ahead of the position players, highlighted by Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, and others. Ellie De La Cruz anchoring the offense, but the offense has always been a little bit behind in Cincinnati. You peek at the Pirates, same thing. Loaded with pitching, highlighted by the best pitcher on the planet, Paul Skeens, but where's the offense coming from? And now they've added offensively this offseason. Ryan O'Hearn, Brandon Lau. Maybe they make other additions. Maybe the Reds do as well. The Brewers might make a big subtraction before opening day. If Freddie Peralta gets traded to the Yankees or wherever they would trade him, their odds immediately go down. And that 85.5 win total goes down as well. Maybe not by a 5. I wouldn't expect them to go down to 80.5, but maybe you split the difference. Maybe they go to 82, 83.5. But this is really exciting that the Cubs are in this position right now. Yes, we're still many days even from spring training. We have our eyes on March 26th opening day, but it's encouraging and it's affirming for the moves they've made and what they had coming back and all that. And it reminds me again of the schedule and how it's never too early to look at the schedule and just think again what the goal is, right? We've established the chase to 90 wins. That's still the goal. Even after winning 92 last year, the goal is to win 90 games. The number should start with a 9. That was the goal that Craig Counsell, the manager, made public back when the 2024 season was wrapping up. And I know there's going to be a bunch of teams excited to start of the year. That's when everyone's fan base is excited to start the year. But if you look at the Cubs' schedule to start the year, there's a clear opportunity to stack wins right out of the gate. Right out of the gate. They opened the season with 15 games in 18 days against 6 teams. They start the 15-game slate with 6 against 2 bad teams, the Nationals and the Angels. Clearly bad teams. Then they have 9 against 3 mediocre teams in the Guardians, Rays, and Pirates. Right now, FanDuel has these 6 teams at these 6 projected win totals, and we'll go in just the aforementioned schedule order: 66, 69, 80, 76, and 74. That's a soft opening, right? With the worst of the bunch being the first 3 games of the year in the Nationals. And by the way, just so we're clear, the quality of win doesn't matter. Please take a page from the NFL's book. The quality of win doesn't matter, especially when you set out a goal of 90 wins. Just stack them. If you exit that first series against the Nationals with the sweep and the scores are 1-0, 10-9, and 5-4, it doesn't matter because you're 3-0. And just really exciting to see the 88.5 total as they, for the second year in a row, do the chase to 90 wins and a return to the playoffs and hopefully a division title as well. The unofficial kickoff to the 2026 season happened over the weekend at Cubs Convention, and we were there. I will share my observations from the convention and also recap all the news and notes out of the convention next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts that you can apply to the bets you like most. Open your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what a boost you get and which one you want to apply. The more juice on the bets you already like, the better. Entering Sunday, the Seahawks were Super Bowl favorites at plus 155. We'll see how that plays out as the playoffs move along, but that's a pretty strong favorite right now. You can make your picks, then apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling on. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day with FanDuel. Thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen of the day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Cubs with no interruptions, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Go to lockedoncubs.supercast.com or check the link in this episode description. Sam and I had an amazing time meeting listeners on Friday at the Cubs convention. We met so many people, some of which who arrived to the Sheraton right there by the Chicago River in downtown, heart of the city of Chicago. They arrived to the Sheraton, they met us, and then they left, not even planning to attend the convention. We had many great conversations, took photos with listeners, signed autographs. It's exciting what we have all built together as the #1 Cubs podcast. And I just wanted to personally say I'm filled with gratitude for this opportunity and for all the experiences that are tied to it. As we look upon the 2026 season and beyond, I just want to continue to soak it in, because what we've done since July of 2022 together has been very special. And it's nights like Friday night where it really hits more. Community should happen in person. We appreciate everybody's listenership and viewership and the interaction in multiple formats, whether it's online or otherwise. But I really think true community happens in person, and it was really cool to see that at the Sheraton at the Cubs convention on Friday night. That was both, in the meetup for really the hour or so that we had a structured time, and then just as we were walking around and at the convention. Special shout out to Joe George and Nick Cozy, who were with us for the entire day on Friday. Nick, my cousin, Sam's best friend. Sam was Nick's best man in Nick's wedding last year. I guess that would have been summer of 24 now. And Nick's the origin point of this show, and I know he got a kick out of seeing us interact with everyone that was there. Joe George joined Locked On about a year and a half ago and contributes to multiple channels. He did all the postcasts here on Locked On Cubs last year. He's been doing more Bears coverage this season, so check him out over at Locked On Bears, especially the squad shows that he point guards there. And it was great to meet Joe in person for the first time on Friday, and he was with us, ended up being with us the whole day. And then all those guys were there Saturday as well. So hopefully it was a continuation of a good time. The Cubs, though, did want to hit on this, albeit briefly, as we, report the news here and give observations. The Cubs oversold the convention because there were hundreds of fans standing for the opening ceremony in the main ballroom, 4 of which was us. And there was hundreds more standing in the hallway, not even able to get into the opening ceremony. So that was something just to share briefly. One other thing, it was the 10-year anniversary of the 2016 World Series. There was a private event at Wrigley Field on Thursday night that there's some, murmurs coming out of. There's some clips, some photos. It looked and sounded like a really, really cool thing that happened Thursday night. I know Crane Kenny, the Cubs president of business operations, told the Score on the radio Saturday morning that the team, that the organization recreated the 2016 clubhouse at Wrigley as a launch point for the private party Thursday night. I think that was a really neat idea. Something really cool. Attendance was off the charts. Even if guys were just there Thursday night and then left right away, including Theo Epstein. The Tribune reported Theo's attendance on Thursday night, and then he left. Afterwards, it looks like most, if not all, I mean, probably the player attendance, it looks like was in the 95 to 99% attendance. Publicly at the convention, the attendance was a lot less just because the active people couldn't be on the stage. Whether that was an active player like Kyle Schwarber who attended or an active coach like Brandon Hyde. At the opening ceremonies, they didn't, maybe it was because of that, they didn't do individual intros. The team walked onto the stage at the same time. And honestly, it was without much fanfare. That was a little underwhelming. There was news, though, over the weekend it was cool to see who was there. Don't get me wrong. I guess I just visualized, on the train ride going in Friday, I visualized Kyle Hendricks being introduced or Anthony Rizzo or whoever, and really just hitting you in the feels. And so with them just walking onto the stage, we didn't really get that. So, that was underwhelming. It wasn't disappointing or anything like that. Whatever the Cubs want to do, but I just wanted to share that. There was news from the weekend. The Cubs are creating a monument for the 2016 team that will be built and installed at Gallagher Way in July. It's not going to be a statue like I have predicted for years, but this monument will be a way for the 2016 to be remembered forever. And man, I really want to be there for that. The rumbling is that's going to happen Friday, July 17th, which I believe is the first game out of the All-Star break. I would love to be there for that. And I think I'm going to plan to be there. That'd be really cool. So good memories with that team. And it was cool to see those guys on Friday night. There was a couple surprises in there that the Cubs didn't even promote. David Ross was on the stage. Jason Hayward was on the stage and others. So that was cool. The top three current player ovations, at least from my vantage point, were Pete, were PCA, Horner, and Bregman in that order. I think those were the top three current player ovations. Former players, there was a bunch that got big ovations, but the two biggest in the moment that I remember, and I think some of it had to do with Cole Wright's, the way he introduced them, like in the little quips he would read before the player was individually introduced, which again goes to show how much the individual intro matters. And Cole Wright did a great job with those. I remember big ovations for two people, Kerry Wood and Billy Williams, who was the last person introduced. So yeah, really thunderous applause and such for those guys. There was also some marquee news out of the convention. I want to make sure I get this right. I'm not sure this has been reported anywhere else. This is straight from Megan Montemurro of the Chicago Tribune. So wanted to make sure to give credit there from the Chicago Tribune. That marquee will be airing only about 10 spring training games this year. Crane Kenny said it was a hard decision, but moving forward, they will emphasize and prioritize regular season coverage with pregame, postgame, and of course the actual game. So starting next month until I believe what's their last spring training game, that would be March 24th, 2 days before the real thing. There's only going to be about 10 of the 30-ish games on TV on marquee. So I just wanted to relay that as well. Coming up next, Kyle Tucker is now officially a former Cub. He signed with the Dodgers. What does that mean for him, for them, and maybe for the sport? Next. On Thursday night, Kyle Tucker signed a 4-year, $240 million deal with an opt-out after the second year with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Later this segment, we'll review implications for baseball and the impending lockout in 2027 and how this signing could give more momentum towards a lockout. We'll see. But let's start with the signing itself. And there's two parts to it, the money and then the fit with the Dodgers. Kyle Tucker doesn't seem like he should be the one earning the most money per year in all of baseball, which now he's doing with this deal, given his injury history, given his second half last year. Didn't strike me as $60 million a year. Obviously, that's a crazy number. He didn't get the long-term deal we thought he would, though the Blue Jays reportedly offered 10 years at $350. And, apparently he wasn't interested in that. The Mets also had a structure shorter term like the Dodgers did, but Tucker picked the Dodgers. He has been productive when healthy. And over the last several years, you can pull up just about any metric that measures total value. And he's on the list with all the best guys in the sport. He just is. And clearly the Dodgers valued that too, and then some with the amount of money. But just an example, a reminder of that, if you just take WAR per game over the last 2 years, which he didn't even play full years the last 2 years, especially 24 was really injury riddled. So imagine if he did play the full year. But here are the top 7 in WAR per game over the last 2 years, just by last name. Judge, Witt, Ohtani, Seager, Henderson, Soto, Tucker. That's quite a list to be on. I mean, the consensus top 4 guys are on there: Judge, Witt, Ohtani, and Soto. Not in that order, but that's the order of WAR per game. Seager has flirted with that. Gunnar Henderson has really broken out with the Orioles. So, for Tucker to be 7th behind those 6 names, that's telling. And that's real production that's being measured. Despite the money, entering the offseason, there weren't many places for the Dodgers to improve, but outfield and closer. And they signed the best outfielder on the market in Kyle Tucker and the best closer on the market in Edwin Diaz. So how convenient for them to do that. We opened the show with win totals from FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel has the Dodgers at 104.5 for the season. The Dodgers outfield last year was one of the worst in baseball, with one of the worst players in the sport last year, and Michael Conforto, and now they replace him with Tucker. You have to chuckle because they really did struggle out there last year, and now they're adding one of the best outfielders of the last 5+ years. The Dodgers projected lineup: Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Smith, Tucker, Hernandez, Muncy, Pages, and Edman. Tucker batting 5th on this team. He's flourished being more of a supporting cast member, and that's exactly what he's going to be here. We can talk more about this last part before the regular season starts, but I'm going to start to say the quiet part out loud, which is the Dodgers are not really the problem. Sorry. With the current revenue sharing system in place, the bottom teams, the bottom to middle of teams in the league receive revenue sharing on an annual basis, with some outlets reporting the Dodgers likely shared at least $100 million in 2025 when you combine revenue sharing and luxury tax kickbacks, of which the Dodgers have now gone over the luxury tax multiple years in a row and obviously don't care about any of that. But that money eventually gets pooled to other teams. And if we had all of the information available to us, if we learned officially what is happening in the shadows, I think the national conversation would be a lot different. Right? Are the Dodgers ruining baseball? Or if you learn that the Marlins, for example, have collected more from revenue sharing and luxury tax kickbacks than they've spent on players, are they the problem? And it's not just them. It's them. It's the A's. It's the Pirates. It's the Rockies. It's other teams. It's several teams. Is that the problem, or the team that just is spending without a line? Either way, this is clearly a topic of conversation, and one that does loom over this season with the CBA expiring on December 1st, possibly putting the 2027 campaign in jeopardy. But, that's up to us. It's not going to loom over this season for me. I'm going to soak it all in. I'm going to enjoy it. If the Cubs are in a jam, against the lowly Nationals the first weekend of the year, and they're on the verge of giving up the lead in the 8th or the 9th inning, I'm going to be on my feet in my living room and having that perspective. Okay, this is what we wanted. We got through winter. We went through all the rumors, spring training, all the questions. I'm not even going to think about 2027. Just going to enjoy all 162 this year. And I think we should ponder, are the Dodgers the problem, or is it really some of the other teams and owners making the decisions they've made? Thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen of the day. For those of you on video, we're about to send you out to the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel, and on audio, make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB. I'm Matt Cozy, and this is Locked On Cubs.